I never want to hear Sean Strickland say to the death ever again. This so-called war was a bit one-sided, so 50-45 for two of the judges in favor of DDP. That's rough. I mean, this Sean's out here always talking the talk, and at this point, it's a little bit irritating. Like, he's always saying things in general, but when you don't back it up, when you don't come out swinging like you say you're going to, when you keep it tentative, when you work the whole time hiding behind that jab, like, yes, the jab is technical, but get in there. Okay, his corner, Eric Nixick, they were begging him. And they were like, please, do something. You have to finish this fight to win. Dean Thomas had some really good comments. Like me, Dean is sick and tired of this. Like, oh, I'm going to be the guy for a stand-up war. Yeah. More like decision. Oh, how, like, DDP was ready to go. He was putting himself on the line. Okay, so here's a quote from Dean Thomas. We just have to admit it now. We have to admit it. Sean Strickland is not who he says he is. He's not who he says he is. We want him to be something. He wants to be something, but he's not that guy. He's not the guy who's going to go into the death. To the death, as he's always saying. He didn't go to the death. He didn't even go deep. I'm not saying he's not a great fighter. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be where he's at, but he's not who he says he is, and we have to admit that. Do you agree? Good question. I'm sick, so there's a lot of sneezing going on. Watched it from my couch. How about you? Were you on your couch? Revenge of the split decision was not revenge at all by any means, because Sean's output was less this time around. He did less. It might be annoying that Sean didn't go crazy with it, but it also puts a cap on this. And in terms of middleweight madness, we don't need to do the trilogy. Okay? So, at least we know that. At least we know Hamzat makes sense. At least we know Hamzat. Yeah, at this point, like, Sean Strickland, is the belt, like, aspirations of those over? Because as long as DDP is in control, it's not happening again. And I think that he's going to maintain control. Okay. Co-main event. Co-main event was expecting it to be a little bit more competitive than it was. I mean, Tatiana came blitzing out the first round and did get the takedown and maintain some ground control, but after that, it was all Wei Li. It was Wei Li 101. And she brought that damage and brought that abuse. And what did she want after? Some ice cream! I love her so much. What a class act. Both of them are class acts. Wei Li really deserves all of the hype. 6 strawweight title wins under Wei Li. So she's thinking to herself, what's next? I think that there's a lot of other great strawweight competition. I'd like to see Jandiroba get her shot, but I also do want to see a super fight between Zhang Wei Li and Valentina Shevchenko. Hello? That would be very, very dope. All on board with that. Flyweight spritzer. So let's get that going. But what an amazing... Seriously, Wei Li has everything. She has everything. She really came ready to deal with that wrestling. And oh boy, did she deal. Hello. Okay. Ooh, awkward. Tafa went down. One elbow is all it took. I mean, that was a good elbow, though. Got to give Taliesin some credit there. That was a it was right here. It was right here. Imagine. Oh, yeah. Dude, that's the thing that makes Muay Thai and mixed martial arts, but Muay Thai the scariest striking art, in my opinion, is the elbows. Yeah. That's all. One elbow, and he caved to the ground. I was honestly disappointed, mostly because I wanted to see more about Taliesin Teixeira, because I don't really know anything about him. He has the one Contender Series performance. Clearly a heavy hitter. Seems like a sweetie. Honestly, seems like a sweetie McSweetheart. Loved how sweet he seemed afterwards. So, Mr. Sweetie McSweetheart, I can't wait to see him again. I wanted to see more of what kind of skill he's got under a little bit more adversity. So, looking forward to the tallest heavyweights second appearance in the UFC, because that was pretty cool. Oh, Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato. That was actually really dope, because Bellato did what he has done before, come back from the dead. It looked like Jimmy was about to kill him. I mean, that was a 10-8 round, in my opinion, the first round for Jimmy. Like, Jimmy just ground and pounded him to hell. I mean, Rodolfo, it looked like he was going to die. But just like in UFC Austin in 2023, he came back to life. And he came back to life to win it, actually. So he came back and he turned up the dial, though. And then won those 2 last rounds. Shout out. Except for, it's a draw. So, okay. So, in my opinion, he won the last 2 rounds. But because it was 10-9, 10-9, and then the first round was 10-8, it's a draw. That's crazy. Oh, bad luck for Jimmy Crute, but at least it's not a 4-fight losing streak. And it was really competitive. It's really just Jimmy got tired. I think he got so excited. I mean, kind of reasonably, not reasonably. He got really overzealous when he smelled the blood. He's like, Rodolfo's gonna die right here. I'm gonna get him. He didn't. That's crazy. He came back to life, man. He was gone. I was so sure of it too. I was like, oh yeah. Jimmy Crute. Nope. Yeah, majority draw. Got to be kind of disappointing for Jimmy, but like I said, better than a loss. And Rodolfo Bellato. How cool. And they were a really great match for each other, I felt like. It was pretty even. It was just clear that Rodolfo came with a little bit more cardio, and he recovered from going to hell, I guess. Oh, there's a cat. Kitty. Yep. And then... oh, he looks evil. Oh, are you evil? He's not. He's not evil. Okay. Then, first fight on the main card. Really awesome. Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. It was all about experience in that fight. I mean, Jakey Boo proved he's got the experience. At the young age of 30, I mean, he's a young man, but he's 10 years into his UFC career, 11 actually, I think. And it really showed. It really showed against someone who's just on a handful of UFC experiences, and he just outdid him. 10-9, you know, a classic decision win. He just could sense everything that Prado was throwing, and he was there first. And I loved it. It was really awesome. It was really great. Some more Aussie talent out there. So it was such a great night for Australia. Kind of interesting, though, that Prado was previously fighting at lightweight, and this was his welterweight debut. And, I mean, it's crazy to be cutting like an extra almost 20 pounds to go to lightweight, but he still looked small. So looking forward to seeing how he figures that out. He's only 22 years old, so lots to figure out with where he is best fit. But he did look small, but so maybe it's not the right, I don't know. He looked small, but he claimed that he was cutting an egregious amount of weight before to be lightweight. So maybe it makes sense. Okay. This is the prelims dance. We're heading to the prelims. Okay. Oh my gosh. Feature prelim. Jenkins versus Santos. Santos is a real one. Another classic, was he gonna die? No. Came back to life. Started with a bang. But he dropped and he recovered. And he went on to submit Jenkins. Oh. Loved it. That was a classic scramble. That was a really great fight, actually. So gotta watch both of those guys in the future. Didn't see much of them. Okay, one of my favorite fights of the night, actually, was Little Nolan versus Borshev. Yeah, Little Nolan is as tall as little. He's not so little. He's young, but he's as tall as any active lightweight. He's 6'3", so he's extremely gangly. Is that even safe? But he did really great. Came out on top with the decision and was so effective on his back. That is some of the craziest shit ever, when somebody is able to be on their back and actually make damage. I mean, there's a amazing from that fight. There's a crazy. He's on his back. He throws a kick. It hits flush, and he did a lot of effective damage on the back. He got Borshev bleeding, and it was really cool. It was a really interesting fight because of how all of the unique kind of scrambles that were going on and all of the damage that was occurring as he was springing off from his back. Just love to see that creativity. Also love to see someone who's so tall have a really... Oh. Do you need something? Oh. Oh my god, he just fell. You okay? You okay? It's cool, though, to see somebody in the lightweight division so tall, but still able to have really good takedown defense, and shoot for takedowns as well, because sometimes when you're tall like that, you can't shoot. You can't, the changing levels gets a little bit harder. But he dealt with that level. Oh, jeez. Oh my god, he keeps hitting his head on stuff. Monty. But Nolan dealt with that level change really well. Oh. You're slipping in. Oh my god. So that was our second. Nolan was our second mullet win of the night. And if only Jimmy Crute had eked out that win, it would have been 3-0 for the mullets. But it was 2-0-1 because it was a draw. So that's kind of fun. Yeah, but Nolan had a mullet and he rocked it. And he was very sweet as well very sweet, very humble. You don't always see people who are able to deal with the adrenaline so well and maintain a cool like that and be respectful. I think it shows a high level of maturity on his part, and it was really nice to see him give a shout out to his competitor for a tough match and even admit to being afraid, because come on, if you're in that cage and you don't feel fear, I think you do. Second fight in the prelims was Wayne Kong versus Bruno Brazil. This fight was very cool, but it was pretty one-sided. Wayne Kong just kind of outstruck Bruna, and Bruna was just really hesitant the entire time, not really like pressing on the gas, and she was just being read really well. So, ended in decision, Batman versus Joker. Joker wins this time. Okay. First prelim was one that a lot of people had their eyes on because you have Thickness and Junior Topuria, and so you have Big Topuria and Volkanovski on each corner. So that's kind of cool. But Thickness was really active. Like, he didn't stop moving the entire time, so we got to give him props for that. Like, he kept up the energy level. He kept up the pressure. He locked in that fear if he had any, and he just kept going. But ultimately, Topuria's boxing was better, and he was able to take him down as well. So, got him in the decision, but really looking forward to the future of these two young, up-and-coming brights. So that was the first prelim. Then going finally into the early prelims. We had 3 early prelims, so we're still going backwards. Undefeated UFC debut with Steele versus Rongzhu, and they're fucking swinging. Especially Steele, who looks like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Did anybody else notice that? A little JGL. Yeah, Rongzhu hit Steele clean flush multiple times. It sounded like clonk, and I guess Steele's head is made of wood because he took it, and he did not go down. when you make it all 3 rounds and you're at the end and you hear that 10-second, clack, 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 and all technicality goes out the window. I still don't know how I feel about that because, yeah, it ended with just like wild swinging punches. I mean, it was basically, the eyes closed type punch, which is cool because it shows an exceeding amount of bravery, but at the same time, it's technique out the window. So that fight devolved by the end, but it was so exciting and absolute bravery on both of their hands. Then the second fight of the prelims was Jusei versus Mikalev. Jusei, that's just too easy to make into sense. Jusei. Okay, speaking of weird noises, this reminds me I want to show, I gotta play you guys this video, because in general I want to show you, but there's this person in the crowd who, you know how it is in Australia with the woo, especially, I mean, they do that in a lot of places, but especially in Australia, they're like, nah, nah, and someone was going Megatron on them, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay.
Good morning.
Oh, you're not working this week?
I
Okay, that's just what I wanted to show you because it's funny, but it reminds me of the Australian crowd in general. I mean, they hired a crazy man. That's at Universal Studios, if you don't know. Okay, last fight. Quick note. Okay, it ended in like 10 seconds. That fight was crazy. Saul killed. Saul killed. I don't think. Okay, first Aussie of the night. First mullet of the night. Gets the KO within the first like 10 seconds. Mullet wins. So, yeah. All in all, that's a great closer. All in all, sick. Watched it from my couch. I usually do, but it wasn't as fun. Dricus du Plessis really demonstrated that he is on that top 3 pound for pound list. He's just able to deal with people so well. It doesn't matter if he's got an unconventional style. He deals with you, and he's brave. He's brave. He makes adjustments. He goes for broke. You know, Sean Strickland kind of like making me annoyed a little bit. I mean, I know that he's all talk. Well, not all talk, that he does so much talk in general, but I feel like there comes a point where the fighting has to be more important to you than the attention. I mean, if you're going to perform, that is. Because ultimately it's so dangerous, it's so treacherous to be in there with another person who really wants to take your lights out. And if that's not where you're at, it's just going to show. So that's not where Sean was at. Okay? Whoo! Okay. Hope you like that Megatron clip. I feel like everybody needs to see that Megatron video. Share it with everybody you know. Let's give a round of applause too for Whaley for being a class act and for inspiring us all yet again. Wow, what an inspiration. And I'm excited to see more from Tatiana, you know. There's lots to do, lots of competition to face, room to grow. Let me know your thoughts on the fight. Where did you watch, and did you love it? Did you hate it? Was it a throwaway card, as many people said? I would say no, personally, if you ask. I think there was so much talent on display. It was such an exciting night. The only thing that is unfortunate is the thing that's unfortunate for me every time, which is that it goes very late, and I am a morning person. Great night of fights. 2 very important conclusions. Not too much left to be debated. And that's a really amazing outcome in many ways. So it's back to the drawing board. So what's next? What do you guys think? Is it Hamzat? I feel like that's most people's opinion for GDP. Do you think that Nasruddin deserves that shot first? Who should we put Nasruddin against? Nasruddin. Who should we put him against? Middleweight Madness continues again next week with Gregory Rodriguez versus Jared Cannonier. So the Middleweight Madness goes on. Oh, before I forget, outfit review. Okay, not really. Mini outfit review. Bruce loved that suit. Bruce came in with something new, something fresh. He was looking dapper. Yeah, Bruce was looking like the money man. Love that. And Heidi, very cute. She had a very cute pair of clear heels on. And she did a great job. Love her. And the boys at the desk. Yeah, I feel like with Michael there was a little bit too much going on with the pocket and the tie. Because the patterns are close, but ooh, they're close, but they're not quite, and I don't like that. DC's colorblind as usual. I mean, I think somebody else picked out DC's outfit this time because it's like a little bit succinct. John went blue. Everybody gets their suit tailored a little differently, but we were blue. We were blue at the table. But shout out to Bruce because I love that new suit. It's probably not new. Probably just him forgetting. But he wore it the whole time. Sometimes he does a quick change. But he wore it the whole time. Me lady. I'm tipping my forehead.